Try that. Thank you.
Here's the shade.
Should have worn my lifts. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I'm Jack Rubin.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm here is because I want to be your mayor. I don't want to be the mayor. I want to be your mayor. Ed, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming. And the reason for that is I am just another resident like you guys. I've not been through the council. I've not been on the planning commission, haven't held elective office. So I take this inspiration from my wife, who reads the park record and says, story after story, she goes, who represents the residents? I would like to bring the balance back in favor of the residents. You know, thank you. We're a town full of well-organized groups, whether it's Main Street business, JK, whether it's developers, whether it's the mountains, whether it's who's not represented? You and me. I'd like to change that. So, my good friend Pat O'Connell has developed a technique I'd like to use called the lightning round. So I'm going to give a couple of lightning round prompts quickly. Sundance, Kimball Arts, Patroller Strike, Recycle Utah. I'm tired. There's plenty more. Did we ask for those? Did anybody here ask for any of those outcomes? No. Do you think the city government might have had a chance to vary those outcomes? They've gotten it together? Perhaps, maybe, yes? Yeah. Let's hope that's the case. So what would we want if the citizens had a voice that's a little louder at City Hall? Two things pop to mind immediately. Traffic is one, management of development is another. If the traffic solutions were easy, they'd already be done, but there's some things that are easier than others. Can we get flex lanes on 248, maybe with a little widening by the high school? We might be able to do that. You know, we've got bus rapid transit coming to 224. I don't recommend anybody hold their breath on that one to be a great solution, frankly. My friend Bill over here has talked about a gondola from Richardson Flat to Snow Park. There we go. Here. Bob Theobald has helped me in dealing with a couple of consultants who can prove to you that it's all weather, faster, more reliable, higher capacity, and cheaper. Why aren't we digging in on that? You know, let's spend a little time there. You know, as the general plan calls for maintaining a small town feel, maintaining our historic heritage, sitting in a car to drop your kids off for an after-school program is not the small town feel. We need to do something about traffic and circulation. Well, we could exacerbate the problem by trying to increase development. What was on the agenda at the city council that, thank goodness, was continued at the last meeting? It was to upzone the Bonanza small area plan. Who in their right mind would want more density when we can't even get around town now? What's missing? A plan. Put the plan together. Let's not look at the jigsaw pieces one by one. Let's look at the puzzle and see how it fits together. We can't be reactive to each thing that crosses our way. We've got to have a little bit of vision here. So what I would tell you is the other thing with regard to City Hall, two things I would try to do. I can't promise you, but I'm going to promise you if I'm elected, I'll die trying. One is transparency. How many times have you gone to a city council meeting, listened to the public comment, listened to the council debate, and then there's a vote that you don't understand? It's because we're not playing with the cards face up. Why don't we have debate that makes sense? This last council meeting was so much fun. Rather than have a debate about affordable housing, which side of 40 to put it on if we're going to do Clark Ranch, instead there was legislation through agenda. Let's put up a $725,000 engineering study so we have sunk costs on one side. No, have a debate. Are we going to have it on one side of the highway? We're going to have it on the other side of the highway? Both sides, neither side? That's all the outcomes I can think of. But let's have some open dialogue. And when it comes to affordable housing, I've got a new term I'd like you all to adopt. Affordable housing. Why don't we do affordable housing that actually makes sense? Studio Crossing, right up near the hospital on the other side near the movie studio, is about to deliver 208 units, beautiful units of affordable housing It cost Park City exactly how much?
Zero.
Zero! Zero's a good number. I like free stuff. We did waive a fee, but we didn't write a check for it. Compare that to, I don't even want to look at it, but the checkbook's not closed on that yet. We've got to do these things in a smart way. So one is, let's get some transparency, and let's bring a little bit of fiscal responsibility to Park City. 8,000 residents, $95 million operating budget. Mind-numbing, simply mind-numbing. And that number has exploded over the last few years. I don't know about you, but my services haven't exploded. I don't know whether yours have. So, whether it's zero-based budgeting or whatever the technique is, we've got to get a grip on where our tax dollars go, because we all pay the taxes. Our property taxes and the second mortgage you can't pay off. Let's try to make that an affordability mandate for us. So, gone on way too long, but I want to thank you guys for coming out. I'm Jack Rubin. I'm asking for your vote because I want to be your mayor. Thank you. JK, and before I turn the mic over, I'm very excited to introduce JK. He's a guy that knows where everybody is buried, among many other things. He certainly deserves your time and attention here. JK, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. I have put in some time up at the University of Marsac. I want to thank everybody for being here. Your time is very valuable, and we're at a tipping point. The tipping point is whether we're going to move forward or whether we're going to stay stuck in the mud. I'm not the statesman that Jack is. I'm the guy that rolled up his sleeves and put in 16 years up there at Marsac. What we have to do right now is elect people that work together. You just saw Jack present an overall plan for you. Well, I'm the guy that's going to go in there. I know the general plan. I know the land management issues and codes. The problem in getting things through, and Jack talked about it, was the process.
Okay. I'm sorry, a little bit.
I'm sorry.
No, just
I
feedback.
told you I wasn't a statesman.
Do that.
Anyway, what happens with the process is the general plan's great. It tells you all the things that the people want to have accomplished and the codes that are required to go along with that. But where the hiccup goes, or where we hit the bumps, or where they completely stop is the process. And Jack just touched on it. So you can, as the mayor, we're a weak mayor city. And it doesn't mean that the person is weak or the position, but they don't vote. Your council members are the voters, unless it's a tie, then the mayor comes in. So that's called a weak mayor system. Here, what happens with the mayor is they control the agenda. So if you can't get on the agenda, or you want to wear somebody out, you just delay getting it on there and delay getting on there and then put it on there and then continue it. Or you put it on the agenda at 10:30 at night when you know that the 100 people that show up at 6 o'clock won't be there by the time you get to it. And if you're in a closed session and you're taking the temperature of the 5 council people, and you see that 3 of them aren't going your way, it might not make it on. Again, this is where your vote, your will, your voice gets stifled. That's not going to happen with me. I am going to see that your voice and the will of the people come back up to the Marsac building. That's what I have to offer. I am a first principle guy. What is first principle? What's best for the community? That's where we have to go back to. The consultants after consultants after consultants. In the last 20 years that I've been associated up there, we've probably spent $20-30 million on consultants, on surveys, on studies. If I wanted to go up tomorrow and ask for two of them that were in the last 5 years, I wouldn't get them. Jack and I were recently touring, and we were going introducing ourselves to the department heads over there, and we asked for the numbers on the annual numbers of pedestrian traffic on Main Street. We have the numbers for 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, right? And the system we have is called Placer AI. That system tracks each and every one of your cell phones. And it has so we know exactly who's walking where, and we can determine how many people have walked annually. Speaking of Sundance, Kimball, the eviction of the recycle center, which is, Mother Earth. It's a 95.5 issue. We've promised them spot after spot after spot for 10 years. And now these poor folks that do a great job are being evicted. Anyway, the numbers I want to give you for the last 3 years, we were down 300,000 people 3 years ago. We were down 300,000 2 years ago. And now we're down approximately 200,000. But they won't even share the numbers. They're saying, well, this kind of sort of, well, we know the number on January 1st. Why don't we all know we're down 800,000 people annually walking on Main Street? Because they don't want you to know. I view all of the failures, and there's plenty more, as opportunities. And I think if you see each piece that's here today, you're going to see a group that can coalesce and move this city forward. I want to thank you for your time today. And I want to introduce you to Jeremy Rubell. I want to tell you how critical it is that we have this man and his institutional knowledge over the last 4 years to continue. This is critically important, as well as Jack. Thank you for your time, and thank you all for coming.
Well, thanks, JK. Thanks, Jack. This really is a pivotal time for Park City. We said that 4 years ago, and it's even more so now. It really is. Let's talk about some things we've accomplished in the past 4 years. And I'm only going to list off ones here that took a lot of will to push through. 1, Richardson Flats Park and Ride with direct bus service to the resorts. Okay. 2, transit to trails going to Bonanza Flat, the land that we pay for in our taxes, so we can use it in the winter for cross-country skiing and snowshoeing, running around with your dog. And now you can also get up there in the summer on the purple bus and take your mountain bike with you, and also your dog, who don't require a muzzle, by the way. But if you want one, you get a Park City branded one. Just a little bonus. Wildfire mitigation. I've sat on the board of the Park City Fire District since taking office a few years back. It's been incredibly rewarding. We've done a lot to advance collaboration between the fire district and the city. One of the projects that's also moving forward, if you look around right here, these power lines, the transmission ones, high voltage, they're going to be buried under Kearns Avenue with a project starting here very soon. For folks who may not know, these wrap around Boot Hill and Park Meadows. All it takes is one windstorm, one spark to have a real problem in town. Really an exciting project that said couldn't be done. And not only is it moving forward in collaboration with Rocky Mountain Power, we got a federal grant to help offset the cost of it. So that's pretty exciting too. Water rates. So water rates have been refigured. They just started July 1st. For anyone who has seen their water bill go up in the past few years, short version is we were penalizing folks who happen to own larger parcels of land, even if they've been investing in their property for water conservation. And we've also been penalizing HOAs who were made to develop their land with grass or other green space when they were built years ago. So the new rates, over 90% of our ratepayers will see a reduction in your yearly water bill. Again, that might not be immediate, so if you get your bill in August, you're like, he said it was going down. On the year, it will go down for 90%. That's how this is figured. And then the top 10% of water users would still see that penalty pricing, but now it'll be rated by property size. So it's not a universal, if you own a big piece of land, you're going to hit penalty pricing right off the bat. That's pretty exciting too. Sustainability policies have been updated. We're getting with the times. And accountability. Accountability's been a big one. I promised it when I ran for office 4 years ago, and I promise it here moving forward. It's hard to really promote true transparency. It's hard because it exposes some things that make people uncomfortable. And they're not bad things, right? It's okay to disagree. It's okay to work together and collaborate out of that disagreement for the best solutions. That's why we have 5 councilors and a mayor. It's how it's supposed to work. We're not supposed to have this group think going on. And I'll tell you, on the accountability front, it goes further. One of the things we worked hard to do is get pay raises and really financial incentives to our frontline workers in the city. The folks who are out there making sure the water flows, making sure that the toilets flush, making sure that the streets are clear and that we can drive around town after a big snowstorm, our public works teams. That's, they've been neglected too long, and those are the folks who keep this place running. It's nice to see us be able to redistribute that from the executive team, frankly, although they did get raises too. It's not as big as they used to be. The things I just listed would not have gotten over the finish line without 2 folks who are here, who I'm going to embarrass. Ed and Bill. Saw them out here. Bill's over there somewhere. It's back here. Things really did change a year and a half ago when they took seats on the council, and we were able to kickstart these initiatives that have been stalled out way too long. And that's what's really exciting to carry forward, as Jack and JK were talking about. It takes the right team. It's not that we all agree on everything. In fact, there's probably more things we don't agree on than we do. But what we do is we sit down and we do put our cards face up on the table, and we work through the pros and cons of them to come up with the best solutions for the community. And that's what's really exciting, right? That's what we love to do. As we move forward, I'll also say there's been problems, right? The 5-acre parcel over here on the corner of Kearns and Bonanza, that's a problem. The Main Street area plan, as it first came out, is a problem. The Bonanza Park small area plan with that extra density and reducing open space is a problem. And the reason that those problems are happening is because of this concept that we can't just hash it out. We can't just collaborate. And folks are focused more on compromise. And I'm a big believer in collaboration is very different than compromise. Collaboration results in positive outcomes versus compromise where everyone's given up a little bit. And we're going to keep it in that lane of collaboration moving forward. We're also not going to legislate through the process, as folks were talking about. And we're just going to rip off the Band-Aid. When the answer is no to something, it's going to be no, and we're going to move on to the next thing. We're not going to twist it and bring it back or run another survey or ask the questions again, hoping to get to a conclusion. And that's what the community deserves. We're there to represent you. We're not there to push our own opinions. We're there to advocate, and advocate in a way that I hope you all feel very represented and will continue to feel represented as we move forward. I'll ask you, as you mingle and enjoy here, feel free to grab any of us and talk to us about anything. Your ideas are more than welcome. We're going to do a lightning round of questions, and I'll give you one final plug. Please vote. Please ask your friends to vote. We ran a voting report as of 2 days ago. There were only 600 ballots in, and that's not going to do it. If we don't get 1,500 to 2,000 ballots in, we're probably going to see an issue in a week. So please, get out there and vote. Please rally your friends. If anyone wants to talk about anything, get them in touch. You can put them towards our websites. It has contact information, and we'll take it from there. Here's your lightning round.
If I could ask, thank you, Jeremy, and thank you very much, JK. One of the things that you can do for us, if you happen to find that what we offer attractive other than the food here, and hopefully you like some of our ideas, is call 10 of your friends and have a discussion with them. There's nothing more powerful than the word of mouth when it comes to swaying votes. We can put up yard signs and do stuff like this, but it's you. If you believe in us, if you would be kind enough to call 10 of your friends and say, what are you doing? And you turn your ballot in, you got any questions I might be able to answer for you because I've gotten to know the candidates probably more than you have. Share your opinions and we'll let the chips fall where they may. But if you could do that for us, that would be huge. Thank you.
They bring in a new- I mean, they've got right of ways out, so talking.
Yeah, it's, Bob Theobald was kind enough to put together a consortium of aerial transport experts, and Bill and I chatted with him for about an hour. And the upside's really good. It's probably less than the bus rapid transit, which is mind-numbing. We can get an aerial transport for less than 2 slabs of concrete. Probably not fully vetted that way, but it should be a little bit less. Can carry up to as few as 3,000 people an hour, but you could actually put 8,000 people an hour on it. It's all weather. You don't have to plow it. The kind of transport we're talking about is probably somewhere between 8 and 10 poles, so the environmental impact is actually reasonably small. It will have to go over 40. That's a UDOT issue. It will have to go over some private land, and it will have to get funded. So it's not a layup, but is it relatively attractive compared to other stuff? I'd say it's, don't take your eye off the prize here. If you want to keep cars out of Park City and get people to Deer Valley. And lo and behold, we haven't talked about one other thing either, which is, I kind of might have left it out of my lightning round, but the patroller strike. We've got 2 resort operators here in town. One is burnishing our image and one is tarnishing our image. If we support something that helps the guy that's helping us, maybe we'll get the attention of the guy that's not helping us.
Okay, this is a question for Jeremy, maybe as 2 fellow councilors. Why has the employment base of Park City gone from the 500s to the 700s, and we grew at 3% during that period of time?
The question's about the employment base, but I didn't quite catch your headcount.
If you give them a microphone,
At City
Give
Hall.
the microphone.
give them a microphone.
Oh, you mean the city employees?
Yes.
Oh, municipal employees. Yeah, so the question is, why has the municipal payroll grown, 40% in the few recent years?
And we've grown 3%.
Yeah, and the city hasn't grown as much. And arguably, you could say the level of service hasn't changed much. We have invested more in the transit solutions, so I'll say that, but that's on the other side of the equation. And I think it's a great question, and one that I don't have an answer to. And I'll tell you, that's part of this accountability and process improvement that we're trying to bring forward here in the city. And it's something that is moving forward. Change is slow, and it's making its way across departments. You can see the benefits, though, of this concept, and it really goes back to fiscal responsibility and zero-based budgeting, right? Where you say, what is the service level we're trying to deliver and what's required to deliver to it? We'll continue that work. I'm not going to promise it's going to happen overnight, but I will promise that we will not be purchasing additional municipal facilities to house a growing workforce without darn good justification, and it doesn't exist today.
Before I take any other question, I want to go back to the gondola. So in 2017, end of 2017, maybe early 2018, right in there, we had everything set up to expand 248, to do the BRT, to get everything accomplished. You first have to do what's called an environmental impact report, an ERI. We completed that, and I want to say at about 3.5 million, and we get into the queue. And the queue is UDOT. And, all of the EIR and all of the cooperation was done. We were funded, fully funded. I'm in with Alfred Knox, the transportation leader. And in walked Andy Bierman, and he said, we're not going to do it. And Alfred went crazy. Alfred said, JK, help me with this. Andy, What do you mean we're not going to do it? Do you understand we have to go back in the queue? And there's probably $30 billion in different counties that are more respected than our county by the state. And you're going to turn in a do not build order? Yeah, I don't like the asphalt. And Alfred said, well, the asphalt has to be somewhere if we're going to put. Andy's deal was to keep all the cars outside and to build these parking lots outside of the city or on the fringe of the city back then. Anyway, that one mistake probably cost us $40-50 million. We are now, and we're good with this political messaging from Marsac, and now we call it Reimagine 248. It's not reimagining 248. It's going backwards and trying to get back in the queue that we're not even in yet. So we're redoing the EIR, the Environmental Impact Report, because they expire. So I don't want to.
Or he's itching already.
So
Okay.
okay. The three guys that are up
Tres amigos.
there. But I've listened to a lot of chat from everybody, personal friends, meetings. Nobody has mentioned root cause what our issue is. First of all, nobody's a professional politician, planner here. Nobody has specifically mentioned the master plan. I went on my best buddy AI, ChatGPT, and developed a Park City master plan and a Rubin master plan.
Of course.
Shit, because I'm a genius. But let me say one thing. You have a whole certain position. I've listened to everything right now. And by the way, I respect everyone. I know you personally, all of you, but nobody has come up with the right thing. We have like a world-class developer in the backyard. 4 years ago, we put a company called Bird Search, which has to do with nothing in the name, but premier developer, consultant, and we brought to the table the partner because the current administration just collected those barriers, spent probably $70,000 on nobody consultants that never implemented it. We have somebody in our backyard that was hired and retained that knows every inch of Park City and its environments. Sitting in our backyard.
So let me jump in.
No, don't interrupt me. Let me finish.
Keep going.
He's on the roll.
It's not your move. It's mine. Somebody has to talk to Mary to it and come up with a plan that's implementable. Because this is way beyond our local capacity. And somebody has to recognize it and make it move it. So everybody's touched this impediment. At the bun, but nobody's addressed it. That's it.
So let me give you this failure. So we brought him in as I was president of the historic Park City Business Alliance. We brought them in and we showed them off throughout town. And they put a bid together that was 90 days to do the reimagining of all three areas, Old Town, the small area plan, and this Bonanza Park. It was unbelievably cheap and no one could believe it. They had done the London Olympics, so he's very familiar with their work. They had done all sorts of cities in China, all over Russia, all over Europe. And we brought it to Nan. Nan became the mayor in January of 2022. And the bid was March of 2022. And she decided to go with Aldi Milken's friends because he was doing the 5 acres from Louisville, Kentucky, that on their resume and their website had the Ohio State University cafeteria featured for one of their, prize accomplishments.
Be Ohio State.
But all of it. So we catered to Aldi Milken. How'd that work out? One last point. Who are they working for now? This Murray Tuhig that Maury's talking about is now doing the plaza at Deer Valley East. You're working for one of the toughest developers on earth and doing a spectacular job over there. And we still we can't get to first base.
Let me address Ori's question there. You're absolutely right. We need a strategic plan. And I always fail to mention my two lives. My other one, I still work in the public utility industry. And all of that is based on strategic planning. It's what I promised I would bring 4 years ago. It's what we have brought in pieces in the past few years. And it's what we need to make more cohesive moving forward. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing it for? Whenever we do something, who are we trying to serve? What are we trying to get out of it? What's the outcome? It's got to follow a strategy. Without that, we're just on spin cycle, and it's not good. Completely agree. Let me leave you with a couple of thoughts here. I already asked you to vote, so I won't ask you again, but I will ask you again to ask your friends to vote. So please do. It's very important. The other thing I want to leave you with is, as you're around town and there's chatter, to please spread the message. There is no need for divisiveness in our community. That's not what we're about. It is absolutely 180 degrees the opposite. And I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear everyone agrees. Please promote the message. It's okay for us to disagree with each other. We can do it in a positive manner. We can all be friends. We can all go to each other's houses and have barbecues still, right? Please, please, please. That is just so passionately important to me. And thank you for supporting that message. Thank you for coming today. Let me hand this over to Jack.
I just want to thank you all for coming. You've been very patient, and hopefully you've gotten the view that our idea is to move forward. We don't need to go left, right, or whatever. We need to go forward as a town and make the town as good as it can be. This is a great place. The one thing that's unsaid here, and you hear this all the time, is that we're prisoners. My wife and I are prisoners here. We sat there and talked about it. It's like, where would we go if we weren't here? Nowhere. That's why I'm here. We want to make this a better place for all of us, for the residents. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.